What you don't want to do is get behind. It's the nature of a coaching relationship to want to impress your coach, to not want to disappoint your coach. But just know that's not my space at all. If you disappoint yourself or you disappoint me, it's time to reach out and get support. Like, we don't isolate on those things. So, hey, man, like, your food prep is a really important one. We want you doing your own food prep. And to be honest, you're going to love doing food prep. Everybody who gets started with food prep, it was hard to do at first, but once they get it going, it's almost like this Zen moment, and it feels so good to make your own food. And to know, like, there's something about doing it that almost all the guys like enjoy it. And so food prep, we want you to do it Sunday or Monday, and then Wednesday or Thursday. So you've prepared food twice. I recommend putting it in plastic containers, and you'll use our recipes. And once you've done our recipes for a couple weeks, you'll eventually have your own, we'll give you a different diet program, kind of customized to your macros. But that one's a really good place to get started.
With the point you were saying about feeling good,
Yeah, it's fun. I was a chief when I was like, I food prep, but now my wife's like, I'm gonna do your food prep this week. And I'm like, that's my time. I'm gonna put on an audio. I have to light a candle. I don't know why, it just soothes me. And I just chill out, listen to my audio and do my food prep. And I feel like a total badass.
lose the soul.
I would do it twice a week. What I do is I get my plastic containers. I cook my food. I put them in plastic containers. I put them in the freezer. And then I can just I really like the food I cook now. Like, I like how I spice it and everything. And so, like, I grab one from the freezer, and I head out, and I've got my food for the day.
Yep. You get
like I'm a big ground beef fan. I like ground turkey. I also like to cook chicken in different ways, and a big fan of, there's that spice that's popular. I forget what it's called. Everybody know. My wife makes fun of me because I didn't know the name.
called Lowry's. Really, not potatoes and cooking potato. My new favorite.
What you'll find when you're doing the shred plan is you're going to cut bloat. There's going to be, like, all the inflammatory food is removed from that initial plan. Doesn't mean we can't eat some of it later, but right now we don't really know what is potentially causing some inflammation or not. Once you remove these things, a lot of people find, hey, I added broccoli back and it wrecked my system. People don't realize that they've been living with some irritating digestion. And when they take it out, they notice it when they bring the food back. It gets you kind of resensitized to stuff that's not made for you.
Even if it seems healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that makes sense.
But the key here is just having your food prep and having it ready. You do this one for 14 days. Some people like to stay on it, but you may tell me, hey, I'm ready for a little more variety. I'll get you a different meal plan that will give you a grocery list every day, every week, and you can cook that one. So it's up to you which direction you take it. But the key is all the money you're going to be saving cooking your own food. You buy that stuff in bulk and cook multiple meals from it, you're going to save. We went through your finances and it was like, we're going to have pretty good savings. Yeah, hundreds a month. And for real. And not only that, but the time. Everyone thinks it's convenience food, but there's nothing more convenient than food prepping. You food prep, you don't have to stand in a drive-through, go through a drive-through, figure out what you're going to eat. That's time. When you food prep, you spend a couple hours and you don't think about food again until you food prep again. If we called it expensive, inconvenient food, maybe that would be better for everybody. Really, it should be better called lazy food and the cost of laziness is so much higher than the cost of being prepared. Like, laziness is so costly and actually requires more thought energy. Like, procrastination always takes more energy than the thing you got to do. It's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. So you got your dashboard. And so today let me see what else we got on yours. That 5-minute meditation, but the way we do the meditation, it's very simple, but I don't know how many books I read on meditation before I finally understood the point. And the point is, You're not trying to not think. You're going to think. The point is to be curious and bring yourself back to your breath. That's it. Some people get in there and say, I'm not good at it. I always think. Everybody does. That's the point. That's like you going to shoot baskets and be like, I'm not good at it. I missed a couple. Yo, you're going to miss. And it's not even bad. Thoughts happen. Your heart won't stop beating. You won't stop breathing. Your blood won't stop flowing. And your brain is an organ. It's going to keep thinking because that's what it does. And so when it does think, you just notice it and just come back to your breath. You're practicing directing it. Just like you're practicing your breath. You're not going to stop yourself from breathing, but you can observe your breath. You're not trying to breathe differently either. You're just observing. How am I breathing right now? What you'll notice is you'll find a place within yourself that is not reactive. And that'll be a place that you'll strengthen. And so next time you're in an argument and you'll realize, wait a minute, I can come back to my breath. And suddenly you've used the skill to redirect your actions and energy. What you're actually learning is how to act, how to use your energy in a way that is powerful. Meditation is it's your core of power. You're not going to get overnight enlightened. If you do, great, but that's not the point. The point is that you're strengthening your ability to direct your own thoughts and actions. Whereas before, we just tried to contain them to some degree or ended up riding a lot of waves. And so you'll notice body, being, balance, business. Those are the 4 areas for us. And there's going to be 2 disciplines in each area that you'll learn. So you've got 2 spiritual disciplines now, the insight work and the work. You've got 1 body discipline, which is gallon of water. There's another one coming, but we want to anchor these in first so that if you're not having fun with them, you're doing it wrong. That's a way to do it. Like it should be if they're on a list and you're like, man, when am I going to get my meditation in? Got to get it in. That's not what we're doing. You sit down and decide, when am I going to do that? What am I going to anchor it to? And then whatever you decide to anchor it to, bam, you've got your rituals in. It's not a ritual until it's anchored in.
I think something. But a little water, just get by water most days. But fill it up throughout the day.
That's what I do. I sip it throughout the day, but I just know that I've got to have it done by the next meal. So it's like, I don't chug it at the meal. I just say, okay, I got my morning water. Now I need 1 more before the meal. So I just empty that bottle before I get to the meal. I also put a little bit of lemon powder and salt in mine, Himalayan salt, and it actually tastes good, which kind of has me leaning into it.
So we work this little kitchen.
I have my water bottle has a bowl on the bottom of it, and in that bowl, you unscrew the bowl from the water bottle, and I put a mixture of it in there, and I put a little bitty spoon in there, so I do 1 little spoon in each 32-ounce bottle. I went a little nerded out a little bit. It did work for me. I was stuck on water for a couple weeks once. I was like, man, when I started doing my water, I was just like, for whatever reason, I found it hard. But once I did that and I said, okay, 32 ounces when I wake up. Yeah, dude, that's worked.
Which had definitely the most of this city. Island.
So it's 128. So if you have a 32-ounce bottle, 4 bottles. So we have a challenge going on right now. And like when you do a workout or if you do some extra cardio, click the plus button and you can log it. You can log your workout as an extra workout. You get points for hitting your workout. You get points for checking off your disciplines. And I got to admit, the competition gets a little bit hot. Some of the guys really want to win the competition because if you win the competition, we make you your own beast mode protocol, which is a very specific type of workout. That's really made to get you progress in a very specific area. So if you win the contest, we make a beast mode protocol for you and we name it after you. So you're famous in the halls of Leap Year. Some guys really like that.
That is 2 hours of that. Play like a few different teams. So if you're willing to stay on
All right.
to let do what work you do, but you put some out walking around you, jumping jacks.
Yeah, dude, that's great. What are your, and you so tonight, before you go to bed, just to make sure you got through your app list. And if for whatever reason you didn't get through, I want you to just send me a message and just take accountability. Because if you ever tell me you didn't have time for it, I'm always going to ask you, was it really a time issue or did we not prioritize? And so the more you're able to tell yourself I didn't prioritize, the more power you'll have. I'm never trying to pick on you. I'm never trying to downplay that you had a crazy ass day. I'm always just trying to give you the power back, because as soon as we say, I didn't do it because of blank, you just leaked power and you may not get that back, because now whenever that happens, you're going to be a victim. And I know it could sound cutthroat. Like you may say, my mother is in the hospital tonight, so I wasn't able to get my gallon of water in. And I get that. And I'm not trying to say that's important, but is it true that meant we couldn't get our water in and take care of ourselves? Does it even, and one way to put it is, did I need to use my mom's sickness as an excuse to not take care of myself? Is that even really fair? And again, it sounds cutthroat, but I'm always going to say, how are we going to take accountability? How are we going to get that power back? Because as soon as we do it, we lose power. Even when I arrived here, I moved. I live in a trailer, so I move every month. And so I've got to find a new gym. And when I got here, I got a little bit off my rhythm because the gym, I didn't like it. When I showed up to it, I didn't sign up because I didn't like that gym. And it would have been really bit easy to be like, hey, I didn't do that because the gyms weren't good in my area. That would have been what I typically say. But now I just say, I didn't prioritize. I could have looked ahead of time, right? I could have easily looked ahead of time. I could have done a little research before I got here. So even though I didn't get right back into the groove like I would have wanted, but my win is that I took accountability for it. And I said, that was absolutely me not prioritizing. Whereas before I would have said, yeah, terrible gyms in the area, so it's been a little bit tough to get started. Sounds nice, but I don't want to quote that, dude. Yeah, not everyone qualifies to work with us. I'm going to be completely honest. A lot of people absolutely refuse to take ownership of what they need to. And it's not, and I don't fight with them either. It's just like you get them there and you can't work with somebody who's going to be a victim, who is going to find excuses, who's going to find a reason why they can't prioritize what's important to them. At the end of the day, if you boil it down, what they're actually saying is, I am not going to prioritize what's most important to me. And that's what it comes down to. I know it sounds oversimplified, but that's what we tell ourselves.
The actuals,
Raw truth. Everything you do in this program, if we're approaching your vision as what is your highest intent and purpose, right? Then we know everything we're doing in this program is to get you there. It's not to get you a six-pack, although you might get a six-pack, right? It's not to make you a bunch of money. You might make a bunch of money. It's to make sure that we've given our vision the same respect that we would have given school or that we would have given work. Goodness, like anybody who has a job is absolutely capable of doing pretty much anything they want. If you can go to work all day, you could be in elite level fitness if you had the right system in place. The same energy that it took, but you don't have the right system because you don't have accountability. You don't have a tribe. You don't have a plan. It's hard. It's hard to get people to realize that, like, they see there's an investment in the program and some people are like, I'm just going to do it on my own. They don't understand that you're drawing a lottery card. Are you going to be that one person who could self-motivated conquer the world? And to be honest, I really don't even know those who have. I think you and I had a conversation and I tried to find people who were just Bill, the Apple guy. What's his name? Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs had a coach early on. Like, all these people had coaches and systems in place. They just knew, if that's really important to me, here's how I can guarantee I have a system, a plan, and accountability to do it. Their skill was not that they were a one-man army. Their skill was that they were willing to invest to get that system around them. And that's what you're doing.
Feels good so far.
Yeah, man. It won't always. There may be a day where you're like, you get off there's some initial excitement that'll be here, but once we get in this rhythm, you're going to notice that this is your leap year, man. This is the year that, whatever cycles you learned up to this point, you're taking ownership of them. and you're making things different for your kids, for your wife, for yourself. This is your year, man. So every time I put my son to bed, I sit by his bed for a little bit and I just review my vision. And that's just my time. That's where I aim for that habit.
It's too easy to venture. Trying to die, but then it's like,
Yes.
going for its core.
You check in with me and you look at your checklist every day, like it's going to be pretty hard to fail. Just like it's hard to not graduate high school. Everybody does it, right? You've given yourself the same accountability for your vision and the same support. So as long as you stay plugged in like that, there's no reason that we don't get through the humps. Yeah, there's going to be times where you're going to have challenges, or maybe your meditation is going to get challenging at some point. You reach out to me, work with the guys who have been through that. And yeah, I'm excited for you, man. I'm glad you're here.